Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Arabic Alphabet series. Today we'll be starting lesson number 12. Let's begin. Today we're going to be learning about the alphabets Ein and GHien. This is Ein and this is GHien. Ein and GHien look very similar, but Ein has no dots and GHien has one dot on top. This is the one dot on top and this is Ein, it has absolutely no dots. Ein has no equivalent in English language that we can compare it with. There's no sound that has Ein sound in English language. There's literally no letter that has Ein in it. The Ein sound is completely unique and English alphabets unfortunately do not have any such sound. So the Ein sound will be a completely unique sound and we will not be comparing it to any English alphabet. GHien is represented as the combination GH. Even though it doesn't make any difference, but the GHien, as you can see, has a similar sound as G. The G in English and the GHien has a similar sound. And just to make it more thicker, we have added the H here. So GH. GHien is represented as the combination GH. Pronunciation of Ein and GHien. Ein is a very throaty letter. It comes from the middle of the throat and is very flat. Ein is extremely hard to pronounce and it's a unique sound, so it's very hard to pronounce. Even I am taking an effort to pronounce it. So Ein comes from the very middle of your throat. It's the voice box, the larynx, exactly from there. If you press it, you'll get Ein sound. Okay. Then GHien comes from the top of the throat and it's a little bit thicker. GHien and G, these are not the same. These do not come from the same place. GHien is a little bit more behind. It's not even in the mouth. It's coming from the top of the throat. It's GHien and it's also thicker. How is it thicker? GHien. That's how it's thicker. See, Ein is flat. GHien is thicker. Ein, GHien. It comes from the top of the throat and you have to really practice these two sounds extremely vigilantly. These sounds are unique and they have not been, the English speakers especially have a hard time pronouncing these two letters. So you really need to pronounce Ein and GHien again and again, and it will be difficult at first, but if you keep on doing it again and again, you will be able to pronounce it perfectly one day, inshallah. Let us now look at the four forms of Ein and GHien. By itself or its original form, Ein is like this. At the beginning, Ein loses the bigger semicircle and it has only a small semicircle because it connects with the letter after it. At the middle, we see that Ein has totally changed its entire shape. It's not at all like the beginning part. So Ein shape looks different in each and every case. This is why you need to memorize each and every case so that you can be able to identify the Ein in the Arabic text. Each and every case of Ein has little differences. Unlike the previous case we saw, which is Ta, Ein has differences in each and every case. So it's important for you to memorize each and every case. Similarly, Ein and GHien are same in each and every form. So it is important for you to see the difference, which is the small dot on top of it. Okay. So we see that Ein is changing very drastically in each and every case, and Ein and GHien have a dot. Ein has a dot and GHien, Ein doesn't have a dot and GHien has a dot. The only difference in Ein and GHien is that GHien has a dot and Ein doesn't. Okay, so be sure to memorize all the placements of Ein and GHien so that you'll be able to recognize them in the Arabic text. Now, if you want to see some examples for Ein, it's a common word, Eid. We know Eid is festival, right? So Eid, La'ib. We can see how the Ein looks in the middle. It's like a triangle, upside down triangle. And also one more thing I want you to show here. Over here, you can see the middle of Ein is fully colored, like it's fully black. But over here, there's a small opening in the middle of the Ein. In the middle Ein, there's a hole, whereas over here it's fully colored. So these are the two cases of Ein. You can do it either case. You can either color it or you can leave it open like how I have left it. Or if I don't want to leave it open, I can just color it like this. But while writing, it's mostly kept open. While writing, this hole is mostly seen, and while typing, this hole is not seen. It's like this. While typing, it becomes like this, and while writing, it becomes like this. Okay, so there are two forms. Ein can be like this or like this. And even at the end, see, I'll leave the hole open this time. So we see. By this is ba, yeah, which you haven't learned yet, and Ein. So it's by. Can you see it? This is closed. Now look here. This hole is left open. I've left this hole open here. Down here the hole is closed, right? It looks similar to this. But over here this top hole is closed, and over here this top hole is open. Because I want to show you that Ein is written in two ways. Either it can be closed or it can be open. Okay? Now, if you look at one more thing, you see that at the middle it connects with lam and ba. It's this Ein, it connects with that. But here there's no other letter after it, so the loop comes back. The by itself loop comes back. And remember I told you that the letters look somewhat different, somewhat same. The ending version of any letter looks same as the original form, but there are few exceptions, and Ein and GHien are exceptions because the ending version, which is this, has closed, and this is the top part is different. The top part of this and this is different. There is no top part like this. There is no top part like this. This is not a top part. The top part of Ein and GHien is completely different when it comes to the ending version and the original version. So any rule has exceptions, and this rule also has some exceptions. So we see that Ein GHien body is a loop, which is a small thing, followed by a bigger loop, the bigger one below the smaller loop. Do not confuse the Jim Ha Kha body with the Ein and GHien body, especially when they occur at the end of the word. So let's see what this is about. This is Ha, this is Ein. If you look at the similarities, you'll see that both Ha and Ein have this loop, this going down thing, this big C, whatever you can call it, this big C. Both Ha and Ein have it. So at the end, when the loop is shown, you shouldn't be confused, because when it's Arabic text, the letters are a part of a word, so it won't be in its original form. It'll just be in the ending form. So the loop will only be seen in the ending form. That's why do not get confused between Ha loop and Ein loop. So I'll show you an example. Basaha and Bay'a. I'm taking as close example as I can. So here we see there is Ein and this is Ha. So you see Ha and Ein have some differences. The top part is different. Over here the top part doesn't form a triangle, whereas here it forms a small triangle at top. So Ha and Ein are completely different. Please do not make a confusion between them, okay? So as we previously saw, in each and every form, Ein and GHien look different. So for different forms, we are having specific writing instructions. The writing instructions will be different for different forms. That's why I've created separate slides for the writing instructions. So this is the writing of Ein and GHien in the beginning or original form. The beginning or original. So the by itself or the beginning form. Okay. To write the Ein GHien body by itself or in the beginning, start from the top and create the first semicircle, which is slightly tilted upwards. This means you start from on top and make it like this. This is tilted upwards, right? Like a small C is tilted upwards. Draw a big semicircle underneath if the letter is by itself. So if it's in the original form, you need to draw a big circle like this. Okay? Otherwise, continue on the next letter. Otherwise, what you do is you just draw the upward C and then just go like this. This is the other letter. Okay? This thing is the other letter. Now similarly for GHien also, we draw the C and then we go downwards, and after that we have to put the dot. The dot is extremely important. Even in the beginning version, you draw the thing, the C, and then you go like this on to the next letter. Okay, so we saw how to write the beginning or the original form of Ein and GHien. We looked at how to write Ein and GHien in the beginning or the original form. Now let's look at how to write it in the middle or the ending form. To write Ein and GHien body in the middle or the end of the word, draw a diagonal line from the bottom right to the top left. So we'll draw a line from this bottom right, top left. Now draw a horizontal line from the left to the right. Horizontal line. Horizontal means sleeping line, like this. Draw another diagonal line from the top right to the bottom left. Now this is how you write it. So this is for the middle version. This is how you do when you do the middle version. And what do you want to do when you do the end? Simple. You just take this, it's exactly the same steps, and then you go down like this. Can you see that? You just extend the line. This line here, you just extend it and go downwards and make a big C. Now the last point is, you can fill the space in the triangle with your pen if you want to. So this is triangle, talking about this triangle, this one. The triangle which we have just made. So this triangle, like I've already explained, it's while typing it comes closed, but while writing you can either leave it open or you can color it like this with your pen or whatever, pen, pencil, and leave one closed, one open, so that you can do this optional. Okay, you don't have to do it, you can leave it like this. This is perfectly fine, but if you want to, then you can color it inside the triangle. Last, practice. Practice is always important, especially when it comes to language. Now first, of course, there are two types, recognition and pronunciation. Recognition practice will be without the harakat. What are harakat? I told in the previous lecture, harakat are the vowels, the fatha, kasra, dhamma that you learned. So the recognition will be about finding the Ein and GHien, and the pronunciation will be pronouncing it along with the other words. Other sentences. Other letters. So let's go first to the recognition part. This is Ra, we all know it. This is Ein, this is the beginning version. Okay, you might have a doubt. This is the beginning version of Ein, but why is it in the middle of the word? This is in the middle of the word. The answer to this is that Ra does not connect with the word after it. Remember one of the 6 letters that do not connect? Alif, Dal, Zal, Ra, Za, and one more which you haven't learned yet. So these are the 6 letters. One of the 6 letters is Ra. That's why when it comes in the middle form, any word, when it comes after Ra, or after those 6 letters, it always is the beginning form. It's not in the middle form. The middle form is only because it connects with the word, with the letter before it. But if the letter before it does not connect, like the Ra does not connect, the 6 letters do not connect. The 6 letters that do not connect. So then the word will be in its original form. This is important. So I will show you one more time. See. This is Ra Adana. Now if I put another letter, Rabada. Rabada. Can you see this? This is Ba. It's not in the middle version. This is not the middle version of Ba, but it's still in the middle of the word, because Ra does not connect with the Ba. The only reason why these letters have a middle version is because they connect with the word before it. But if there's no letter before it, they cannot connect with it. if there is a letter before it that they cannot connect, like raw in this case, raw or alif or something like that, then they will return to the beginning form. Even if they are in the middle of the word, they will come back to the beginning form. So please do not get confused. This three letters make one word, and that word is perfectly acceptable even though the middle version is in the middle form. Why is it acceptable? Because the letter before it does not connect. When the letter before does not connect, then the word always has the original, the middle, the beginning form. Okay. Similarly, if, for example, there's a word like this, there's ba, ra, and dal. Can you see this is dal original form? Can you just notice the dal's original form here? It's the original form of dal. It does not connect with ra. This is the original form of dal. So we see that if it comes in the middle, it will be in the beginning form because it still has to connect with this word, right? The reason why is it in the beginning form over here and in the original form here, because the ba over here is connecting with the other dal. But over here there is no other word to connect, so you can return back to the original form. Alright, so if there is a letter that does not connect with the following letter, then even if it's in the middle, the next letter will be in the beginning version. The next letter will be in the beginning version. And if it is at the ending, or like how here we can see, Ain is at the ending, Dal is at the ending, Dal and Ra do not connect with the following letter, then the word will, the letter will be back in the original form. The letter will be in its original form when it does not connect with the previous letter. Okay, at the ending the letter will be in the original form, and at the middle it will be in the beginning form. Can you see this? This Ain and this Ain is the beginning form and this is the original form. So even though it's at the end of the word, it's at the original form. So we saw that when the letter that comes before does not connect, then it will return back to the middle form, to the beginning form. The middle letter will return back to the beginning form, and if it's at the end, the end version will return back to the original version. Okay, so this is important, please be sure. Now ba, ain, dal. Can you see the ain here? Of course over here it's colored because it's typed. You don't, when you write it, you usually don't color it. Here also ba, dal, ain. Again, the ain over here is the original form because there is dal. If there was no dal, it would have been in the ending form, which we'll saw later. Ba, ain, ra. Ba, ain, ra. Which is this original form because it's in the original form. But if it was some other letter over here, then this would have been in the ending version. Okay. Now that we have finished our recognition part, let's go to the pronunciation. Ghain, dhamma, ghu. What the sound? Ghu. Ra, kasra, ri. Ghuri. Okay, where's the kasra? I have not put the kasra, so I'll put one kasra for you. Over here. Here is a kasra. Okay, this is a kasra. I had not put it before, so now I've put it for you. So ra, kasra, ri. Ghuri. Ba, fatha, ba. Ghuri, ba. Ain, dhamma, u. Shin, fatha, sha. Usha, ba, kasra, bi. Usha, bi. Can you hear the ain? Usha, bi. Usha, bi. Sin, dhamma, su. Ra, alif, ra. Su, ra. Ain, dhamma, u. Su, ra, u. Su, ra, u. Sin, fatha, sa. Jim, fatha, ja. Saja. Ain, dhamma, u. Saja'u. Okay, over here you can see that ain is in the ending form because it connects with the jim. So I told you before that we'll see it here, so we saw it here, right? The jim connects with the I, so it became in the ending form. Or else if there was any other letter that did not connect, it would have been like this. Okay, so this is the thing. Even at the ending, it can somehow be at the beginning. If it can somehow look like the original form if the letter before it does not connect. If the letter before it connects, then it returns back to the original, to the it returns back to the ending form, and that's completely fine. That's normal. But the only abnormal scenario is that the letter does not connect. The only reason there are different types of forms is based on the placement. I told you this way before at the beginning, at the introduction video. The only reason why there are differences in the forms is because of the placement. The original beginning of the word, ending of the word, and the middle of the word. These are the 4 places that we saw. But if the places are different because there's a letter before it, there's a letter after it, and there can be a letter before it and after it, and there can be no letter at all. It's just a letter by itself. Remember that? So this is why you need to be paying attention, and you should see that if the word does not connect, it will be like this. If the word connects, it will be like this, or else every letter will return back to its original form. Okay, it's not just Ein, any single letter, like here I showed Dal, every other letter will return back to its original form. Okay, I hope that was clear. Now this pronunciation part, I have told you this at least a few times before, so it's extremely important for you to pronounce this. Now that you have understood the explaining that I had to do about this, I had not shown you this before. Today is the first time you were introduced to this topic. So now that you have understood this perfectly, we'll come back to the pronunciation again, and you need to pause this video, pause it, and pronounce it. Pronounce it to the best of your ability. Even if it's wrong, it's your first time, it's alright. Even if it's wrong, it's alright. Just pronounce it at least once so that you can feel the movement of your mouth. You can see how your mouth feels, how your mouth is making, what sound your mouth makes. Okay, so now pause the video. After that, after you finish pausing, come back to me and check if you have done it correctly. I'll be doing this 2 more times, because in language it's not only pronunciation, it's the listening part too. When someone talks to you, or when you read the word, any word from the Quran or etc., you need to be able to think, oh, this letter sounds like that, it must be that letter. That's how languages work. So that's why pronunciation as well as listening, these 2 parts are important in a language. So now that you have pronounced it, now I will be making it listen to you, so that you can listen to it and identify the sounds. So let's begin. I'll be doing this 2 more times. Okay. Ghain dhamma ghu, ra kasra ri, ghuri, ba fatha ba, ghuri ba. Ain dhamma u, shin fatha sha, usha, ba kasra bi, usha bi. Sin dhamma su, ra alif ra, sura. Ain dhamma u, sura'u. Sin fatha sa, jim fatha ja, saja. Ain dhamma u, saja'u. One more time. Ghain dhamma ghu, ra kasra ri, ghuri, ba fatha ba, ghuri ba. Ain dhamma u, shin fatha sha, usha, ba kasra bi, usha bi. Sin dhamma su, ra alif ra, sura. Ain dhamma u, sura'u. Sin fatha sa, jim fatha ja, saja. Ain dhamma u, saja'u. Okay, so that's all for today's lesson. I hope it was beneficial to you. If there are any questions, please be sure to comment below. I'll be trying my best to answer them. And if you like this video, please click the like button, share to this channel, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.